Hello and welcome to a new series in which I will be rating all the base game cards, going through them alphabetically. There will be a bit of preface here, so if you want to get straight to the rating, use the timestamp on your screen or just skip to the next chapter. So let's start with the preface. A few of you are probably wondering, wait a minute, is he just ripping off Cardboard from Mars? Cardboard from Mars is an amazing channel. They do Terraforming Mars content, and in 2020 they started a series grading all the base game cards. That series was great, but it was discontinued in 2021, to my knowledge, and the latest episode is nearly a year old. Nevertheless, I highly recommend you checking it out, and I left a link to their first video in that series as well as their channel in the description. My series will be a bit different, as I will release shorter videos instead of longer discussions. I will always talk about 5 cards, and my videos, same as all my tutorial videos, will be scripted, so you will get as much info as possible in a short time span. Why am I starting this series just now? Well, those of you who have tuned into my last streams will already know that I finished my master's degree and just went on a long vacation, so I pre-produced a few videos for this and other series, so you get some content while I'm gone. Now let's talk about my grading system. I will grade all cards from S to F, with S being equivalent to game-breakingly strong in most situations or never pass. These are really only the best of the best cards, maybe only the top 3 cards in the game. A is equivalent to game-breakingly strong in some situations, very strong otherwise, or cannot be passed in some situations. B being equivalent to very strong in some situations, strong otherwise, or avoid passing. C being equivalent to strong in some situations, mediocre otherwise, or avoid passing in some situations. D being equivalent to mediocre in some situations, weak otherwise, and F being reserved for the most trash cards out there. So for example, a card in A tier is one that can be game-breakingly strong, but only in some situations, maybe only in the early game or for some corps, or it is a card which is very strong but not game-breaking in all situations. Or it is a card that you cannot pass in some situations, even if you don't want to play it. You can also find these rating categories in the description. But let's start with the video. Quiet Company is one of the most basic cards in the game. If bought in a draft, it costs 13 to play in total and gives 3 MC prot. Therefore, it pays off in 5 generations and offers a somewhat useful tag for some cards like Space Hotel or Cartel. There is some synergy with corps like Point Luna and Credit Core, and in these situations this card is definitely strong, but otherwise it is just good/mediocre. Good development in the early game, useless other than for banker in the late game. This is the definition of a C tier card for me. Adapted Lichen. Where do I start? 9 MC for 1 plant prod is just bad. This is a problem with a lot of early game plant producing cards. They are just really low value compared to their mid to late game counterparts. You're much better off with playing development cards in the early game, so that you can play better plant producing cards later on. Also, 1 plant prod in and of its own is just bad. It takes way too long to get to 8, and in that time you will probably get hit with a few asteroids before you can even convert. You might also think about playing this with Lichen, and yeah, it combos really well with its ability, but Lichen is piss poor, and do you really want to play this instead of something that helps you out economically? The only cases where I see this being played is when you're in the mid to late game and have some combos going, or you need it for something like NRA or insects. All in all, D tier for me, and definitely low D tier. Just saved from F by the somewhat useful plant tag. Adaption Technology is hella expensive if you play it without discounts and really is only useful in a few fringe cases. It can allow you to play kelp farming 1 or 2 gens earlier, but do you really want to pay 15 MC for that? With Inventrix you can do crazy stuff with this, that's true, but often Inventrix is way too poor to play this card. It offers a science tag and a point. The former can be useful for getting cards like Mass Converter or Anti-Grav down, but again it's hella expensive just for the tag, and the latter can be useful in the late game. All in all, this is just a D tier card. It is mediocre or kinda good in some situations, but weak most of the time. Potential of advanced alloys ranges from absolutely useless to game-breakingly strong, so it is somewhat hard to rank. When is it useless? Well, when you have no minerals, no mineral production, and don't need a science tag. But even then, you often don't want to pass it, because your opponent might really benefit from it. Advanced alloys is best when you have minerals in the bank and mineral production, meaning you can immediately make use of the effect and also profit from it long term. Another factor that you have to consider is running out of steel and titanium targets. If you have high mineral prod, this might happen, and alloys just exacerbates the problem. So make sure you have card draw to prevent this from happening. I will rank advanced alloys in B tier. It can be useful in both early and mid to late game situations as a science tag and is a scary card to pass. Advanced ecosystems is a tricky one. It gives really good value for its cost and can be made even better with some combo cards. But it also is somewhat hard to get down. I wouldn't say it is ever game-breakingly strong, but often, even if you do not want to play this card, you do not want to pass it to your opponents either. So in my opinion, this card goes into B tier, but is a high B tier card for sure. I hope you enjoyed my video on the base game cards, and if you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Also, let me know in the comments what your gradings would have been, and follow me on Twitch if you want to catch me live streaming Terraforming Mars. Have a good one.